The last 2 weeks have not been the funnest of times. Not having right tackle Lane Johnson has really hurt this Eagles offense. But we have seen a little bit of maturation from Jordan Mailata at that right tackle spot. And we've seen Andre Dillard play very well at left tackle. So it bodes the question, now with Lane Johnson back, does he have a starting spot? Or do you want to see maybe what this future holds for this Eagles offensive line? What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast, man. So, look, today we're going to talk a little bit about Lane Johnson, in my opinion, on whether or not the Eagles should start him at that right tackle spot, or maybe we should start looking towards the future. I talked a little bit about this in our live stream. If you didn't catch that, definitely go check it out. It was a fun time. I kind of went a little bit crazy, but I'm calm now. So we're going to talk. But before we do get into that, please do help me out and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, join the family. We're so close to 3K, and I would love to hit that number. So please help us out there. But let's get into this, man. So Lane Johnson obviously was out for the last 2 weeks. He came out with his, his speech or his message to the fans saying that it was him dealing with some anxiety and depression issues, something that we know he's been dealing with for a while now. Unfortunately, it made him miss 2 weeks, but in those 2 weeks, like I said, we did see Jordan Mailata have a rough start, but he did come together in the second game. So I've been thinking to myself, is this another Jason Peters situation where you put the veteran in and you kind of halt the development of either Jordan Mailata or Andre Dillard? And my answer to that is probably to start Jordan Mailata, keep him at that right tackle spot. And I know a lot of people are saying, why even do that? At the end of the day, this is the team that we have to look at for a future. We have to look at the team's future. We have to look at what this offensive line can become and not necessarily what it is. We are not a player away. We are not a couple players away. And I really feel like a player like Lane Johnson right now holds a high value. Maybe you can get something higher than a third, maybe a second, maybe you steal a late first from somebody that's really desperate for a tackle. Maybe you don't, but I think that it's time that you start looking into options. Jordan Mailata has proven that he can move around that offensive line. And it might take him a week, it might take him a little while to really get accustomed to it, but I feel like he's the future of this offensive line. And I think that Andre Dillard proved me right when I said the beginning of this year, he might just be kitty corner to playing that left tackle position, which is fine. If you can get Jordan Mailata over to that right tackle spot and solidify both bookends for the future, that's huge. That's huge for this team. We've seen Jordan Mailata get the extension and everything, but it's not tied to him being the left tackle. I love Lane Johnson. But next year, he's not going to be the guy he was this year. He's not going to be the guy he was last. I feel like his value is only diminishing. And I say that as a player. I'm not saying that as a person. I love you, Lane. And, I understand you're going through things, and this is a really tough, video to make, to be honest, because it is kind of I don't want to sound rude. I don't want to sound like I'm giving up on him because of his health issues. I'm not. I'm definitely not. I'm looking at the team, and I'm saying that we are in a position that we actually have guys that can go in there and fill in those spots. So I think this is just as good a time as any, if not probably the best time, to go ahead and make that move. Go ahead and build more assets. Now, I was talking to a couple people, and I do know that there's going to be some dead money that you do eat if you are to get rid of Lane Johnson. I think it's around $9 million for like another couple years. But if you can get a good rookie, if you can get a second round pick out of Lane Johnson, and you can turn that into like a good linebacker, a great linebacker, I think that's worth it. I'll eat that $9 million, and by the time his rookie contract's over, you're back to dead money, assumedly, right? I'm sure there's going to be other moves that might kind of mess that up. But assumingly, you're not going to have that dead money on your books anymore once you have to pay somebody like a linebacker from a rookie class. So I'm all in on trying to get this team young. I'm all in on trying to get better through the draft. To me, it doesn't make much sense to hold on to vets that, while they're great, they are great. I don't think that the difference between Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata is that huge anymore. I think that it's slowly getting closer, and soon enough, I really do feel Jordan Mailata will be the better option. Will he ever be better than, Lane Johnson in his prime? Who knows? But I do think that slowly Jordan Mailata has become the better option to play that right side, whether it's just continuity. And I hate to say it like this, we don't know what's going to happen with Lane Johnson. At any given moment, Lane Johnson, can go into something like this and we're out of right tackle. So it sounds mean, and I'm trying not to say it like that, but we have to realistically look at the future of this team, and I just don't know if holding on to somebody like Lane Johnson makes the future of this team any better. I know losing, Zach Ertz, it hurt, but I think you have to start exploring options. I know that the trade deadline is very, very quickly approaching, so you don't have much time to make decisions if you are going to make those type of decisions. But I think it's something that Howie has to look at, and I think it's something that Eagles fans have to accept if it is what we do. If that is the decision that we make, is to move on from Lane Johnson and keep Jordan Mailata at that right tackle spot, I think that Eagles fans have to understand why. And it's mainly just because of the age. It's because of the future. We all say that this year is a building year. This year is a learning year about this team. And it has to be more than just Jalen Hurts. It has to be, we have to see who's going to be on this offensive line moving forward. Look, we have an offensive line that can be a future. And not many teams can say that. Not many teams can say that their starters can go down and you have guys that can go in and play competently. I really do feel good about Mailata. I do feel good about Dillard. I feel good about whether you want to keep Isaac Seumalo at left guard or if you want to put Landon there. I feel good about Landon at center. I feel good about Nate Herbig at center. I feel good about Landon at right guard. I feel good about Jack Driscoll at right guard. Like, you have a lot of options. And that's something that's good. And we can't waste those options. That would be the worst thing that we do. So I think that if you take this year and you say, all right, we're going to move forward with Jordan Mailata. Let's see if he can take that right tackle spot. And if Andre Dillard starts sucking, then he's the guy that has to move on, and you figure it out from there. But it has to be a look into the future. And I think that Lane Johnson is the start of that, unfortunately. And, this is a terrible video to make. I really do feel like that. I really do feel like this is probably going to get a lot of negative comments, a lot of dislikes, and I understand that. I get it because I don't really like saying it, but just looking at who this team is right now, I think it's time that you start looking towards the future. And, unfortunately, I think Lane Johnson has a lot of value, and the cap number, the dead money really isn't as big as it could be, and I think it makes sense if you really break it down the right way. And if you make the right decision as far as who your next player is going to be, as far as who you're going to draft with those picks. We have, I think, 11 picks next year. If we can add to that, bombs away, man. You got to hit on something, right? You got to hit on something. So I that's how I'm feeling about Lane, and I just wanted to get this out. You guys let me know what you're thinking, man. Do you think that Jordan Mailata should stay at that right tackle spot, even if it means Lane Johnson's a backup? I know he's a very high-paid backup, and that would probably never happen. I'm 99% sure that he's not going anywhere, and they're just going to start him again at the right tackle. But I feel like you're derailing somebody. Like this. It might be that you put Jordan Mailata back at the left tackle spot, and now you're ruining Dillard's progression. And we did this for the second time in a row, and 2 times in 2 years. We did this with JP, and if we move Dillard again, we're going to be doing it with Lane Johnson. So while I do like Jordan Mailata, I think it makes more sense to keep him at the right tackle. And it sucks because somebody, like I said, is going to have their development kind of derailed right now. And it is what it is. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. But other than that, y'all know what it is. It is Fly Eagles Fly, and we are out here. Peace!
Everywhere, this is for you.
Fly Eagles Fly, on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling with Philly the podcast. And we can call a man